How are you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Good. I was just calling to get your reaction to I'm sure you saw the task results.
Yep, and Matt Connolly picked up as well.
Oh, great.
Peggy, how are you?
Good. I just want to get your thoughts. What you guys said about the stop out.
I want to get Andrew's thoughts first so I can
No, I think it
disagree with him on a tape line.
I think it went,
No, I'm just kidding.
went excellent, especially since I think it was great that it was below the discount rate. Great that there were so many people who were interested. It was below the discount rate, and also given that 1 month was trading at 505 before the auction, and I know it traded at 485 before these results came out. I don't think it could have went any better.
So where's 1 month trading right now then?
It was trading 485 before this came out, and that's only one lender who's good to certain names, so it may be even a bit higher than that tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, it may be even a bit higher than that in the market right now, but it's quiet, so I think it went well.
Yeah, me too. I don't, I think this is about as good as the results as we could have possibly expected. A lot of people bidding, and, the rate was below the discount rate, but not at what people would consider the throwaway bids.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably going to be the impression that people who needed money bid for money and got money. So I think it was great. I think you guys did a great job with the whole thing from top to bottom, actually. I really do. You guys definitely need to be applauded.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I really do. Just even, the way the ECB did theirs, the Swiss National Bank did theirs, just how it was very coordinated, very clear, very well done.
Took a lot of work, I'll tell you that.
I can only imagine. It was worth it, it seems.
So what do you guys think about, where the Libors will fix tomorrow?
I think they'll trend down. I don't know that you're going to get them down 15 to 20 basis points, but I do think we're going to start coming down, a few bips each day at least.
Okay. I don't know, let's see, 1 month is right now at 493, so I guess something in the 480 range or something?
I hopefully we break 490. That's that part of the. There's really not much trading from when we had spoken to our guys here, but I do think it'll be down a few bips.
Okay.
I don't know, Matt, do you think it's coming down?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to come down too, but I don't know what could get these guys in London who set the rate to do anything more than keep coming down the way it's been coming down. Which I think is, I really just think the direction is important and not, we don't need to have, a 25 basis point immediate drop for it to be considered, a success.
Right.
I think if we keep doing what we're doing, I think that's good enough to really help, as long as we keep trending lower.
Right, and I definitely agree with you too. I don't think
Yeah.
we'll see a big drop in the Libors too. There's such a premium from year end right now, so.
Yeah, and the psychology, the way that they set these Libors, on the psychology of the whole thing,
Right.
people are still fairly pessimistic, and that's why I just think there's not going to be, a big knee-jerk drop, but if we can keep coming down, 5 or 7 a day,
Right.
I think that'll be good.
And you also hear that, it's incredible how subjective, the Libor settings are.
Oh, absolutely.
And just, for some of these institutions, why would they want to sell at a lower rate,
Yep, no, that's 100% correct.
So what about the second auction for tomorrow? Are you guys thinking of participating?
Yes.
Okay,
We
and what do
very
you
much
think?
would like to.
And in terms of, how does this auction, the results, how's it going to impact kind of your bidding strategy for tomorrow?
That is a good question. I will say, as we sit here as a bank, the funding needs are changing dramatically every day. So it will all depend on that. But I think it's.
I know this go around, you guys were kind of around. The minimum bid rate for the OAS rate. You guys kind of bid around that level.
Yeah, I think we may be about the same or maybe a little bit higher.
Okay.
But part of my, to me, I thought it was just more important to make sure we put our bids in, and that the worst case scenario would have been the scenario where the results come out and there was only 15 billion in bids for 20 auctions. Like, to me, that would have been the worst case scenario. So I definitely wanted to make sure that, that we put in support bids at least.
Right.
But on the other hand, I mean, we're having a very easy time of funding ourselves.
Right.
So there's definitely the part of my mind that says, why cut somebody else out who might need it a lot more than we do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that right? Or
you guys are being quite the Robin Hoods here.
No, it's not at all. But I mean, that definitely goes through my mind. Of there's definitely some people that are having a hard time getting money, and we're having a pretty easy time overall.
Right.
You know, so if I go in and hit just for the sake of hitting, you know, I don't know, you know, then that's going to be a customer that I might have to turn away. That's not going to give the money to, you know, one of the other smaller banks.
Right.
So, I would think those smaller banks are thrilled at the level they got and at the funding that they got here. So they're probably very excited about tomorrow's auction. You know, if they got what they put in for, you know, at a rate of 465, they should be thrilled with that.
Great. What do you think about the level of participation in the second auction? You think it'll be a little less? Or?
I think it's going to be higher.
Higher?
Only because there was a bunch of people that were scared of the first one, and I think to the extent that, you know, it also depends on the minimum rate too, but I think that there's going to be more people encouraged to go in. But there was definitely people that needed the money that just didn't go in.
Right.
And I just think they're going to be encouraged to come in.
Right, because on the other side, I've heard the opposite argument of saying, well, some of these guys are now filled, so they're not going to participate, and maybe you'll see a lower. But I definitely hear what you're saying as well.
I think we could see lower. I think we're going to see lower.
Lower participation?
No.
Oh,
Higher participation, but lower stop.
Lower stop out, right.
And I think that would be a good thing, too. But definitely, you know, the funniest thing about this whole thing is there's definitely, it's such uncharted territory that, you know, whatever anybody says, I can't say, oh, that's definitely wrong, or, you know, anything can happen.
Right.
So, I mean, I definitely have my own opinion about where things are going to end up, but, I mean, if someone says that the participation rate's going to be lower, I definitely disagree with that, but I definitely can't say, oh, I'm sure they're wrong, you know?
Right.
Because there's just so much strange psychology involved in the whole thing.
Right.
But I actually think it's going to encourage people to I think the stop was lower than people thought. And so what I think that's going to do is it's going to get people to put more bids in just in case, because they can get cheap cash.
Right.
You know, so I think from that perspective, that's going to get more people interested.
Okay.
Like, hey, if this stop came out of 465, maybe I'll go in at a 430 and maybe I'll get something.
Right.
So.
You know, can I also ask you? I mean, there's been a lot of comments about the Fed's communication, strategy and this and that. I mean, you guys seem to be pretty. Are there any other, suggestions or anything you have?
I think ever since the meeting when we had originally spoken after your statement last week, I think it's been excellent.
Okay.
Myself.
Absolutely. I agree. Throughout the whole, the only critique I had about the communication was, I personally think that if right after the meeting or in the announcement in the meeting, if it would have at least been announced that something was coming out that day, I think that would have alleviated a lot of the volatility we saw.
Right.
That's it. Other than that, I mean, I think if after rates were lowered, if they said there's an imminent announcement of more plans to quell liquidity, I just think that we would have seen a lot less crazy volatility directly after the announcement and then in the morning after you did come out. So, but that's small.
Right.
Other than that, it's been great, and we've been on all the conference calls, and I mean it's incredibly thorough, the amount of information everybody's getting, 50 times. So there's not anything you could possibly do to explain things more than you already have.
That's
the
great.
conference calls are incredibly thorough.
Great. Okay, great, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Really appreciate this.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Well done. Tell everybody.
Okay, will do.
Okay.